made a comparison with you and Nas, man. Everybody was talking about it. Now, why out of everybody you pick Nas, bro?
I didn't do it.
They asked him.
No,
they asked him a question.
Jim Jones picked the wrong names to play with. Nas and Pusha T. These are legends, untouchable. And Jim, he disrespected both of them back to back like he had absolutely nothing left to lose. Now, his music career is hanging by a literal thread. Yes, that's exactly all it took to turn the entire culture against him. He claimed Nas was never truly impactful. He declared Pusha T was overrated. He even boasted that he made Nas go viral again, and many are saying that was the moment he crossed a line he can never come back from. Because what happened next didn't look like a normal rap beef. It felt like something far bigger was already in motion.
You like the new song?
No.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
The question now is, was this just another rap ego trip gone fatally wrong? Or was Jim being publicly phased out by the very culture he helped shape? Because that quote is still spreading like wildfire. That Summer Jam set got mysteriously cut. And Pusha? Oh, he's definitely not done. So let's rewind everything and dissect what truly triggered this brutal public takedown. That single sentence, that one dismissive quote, it launched Jim into a full-blown cultural freefall. This wasn't just shade, this was erasure. Jim wasn't simply critiquing Nas's new work, he was audaciously dismissing the entire monumental legacy of one of hip-hop's most respected and genre-defining artists.
So you're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life.
Let's zoom in. This wasn't just any platform. Jim dropped this nuclear bomb on the Joe and Jada podcast, a show known for casual banter, not for delivering career eulogies. And instead of reeling it back, Jim doubled down with his full chest. He basically declared Nas never truly mattered to the culture, boldly claiming his own Billboard stats could rival or even surpass a legend. Let's be unequivocally clear. Nas isn't just a rapper. He is a pillar of hip-hop. Illmatic is studied in college courses. Ether still gives seasoned rappers nightmares, and King's Disease proved he's not done. He's evolving. Meanwhile, Jim's out here talking like he just dropped The Chronic yesterday. What's truly crazy is, this wasn't even about rap skills, this was pure ego.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck.
This was insecurity thinly masked as bold opinion. And the fact that he dragged his own kid into it? Like, what kind of example are we even setting? The internet immediately dragged him. People were posting side-by-side comparisons, digging up every single Nas award, every sold-out show, every undisputed classic album. Meanwhile, Jim's chart stats were, well, we'll let you look those up. All this because he decided to brazenly rewrite history with a hot take absolutely nobody asked for. Now, most people, after getting publicly dragged online for disrespecting a legend, might issue a walkback, or at least cool down the energy. Not Jim. Instead, he hopped on Nightcap, looked Shannon Sharpe straight in the eye, and tripled down. But let's pause. Second to who? Jay and DMX? These three legends existed in totally different lanes. Nas was spiritual, poetic, reflective. Jay was corporate hustle. DMX was raw chaos and pain. Comparing them is like trying to compare Kendrick Lamar to Future. Different beasts, different missions. But to assert Nas never led the pack, that's not just an opinion. That's outright revisionist history. And the wildest part? Jim doesn't even deny being a fan.
I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
Yes.
So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan.
He admits that as a teenager, he wanted to dress like Nas. This man is using a film from 1998 as the reason to disregard a 30-year genre-defining music career. This is precisely where the delusion creeps in, because now it's not just about stats. It's not about opinions. Jim talks like someone who desperately wants Nas to be beneath him and is furious that the numbers simply don't back him up. This was about positioning. Jim wanted to prove he belonged in the same conversation as the GOATs. Instead, he just tragically revealed how profoundly insecure he is about never being mentioned with them. Now, if you thought Jim was going to pump the brakes, think again. Because on Bag Fuel, he hit us with one of the most utterly wild quotes of this entire saga. He didn't just say Nas wasn't relevant. He didn't just say Nas was second place. No. Jim took it a monumental step further and brazenly claimed he brought Nas back to viral life.
Period. I'd never take that away from him, but then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals will be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
Jim genuinely acted like the entire culture owed him a personal thank you for reminding us Nas even existed. The reactions were immediate and brutal, and the math still didn't math. Nas has been consistently active, 3 albums in 5 years, 1 Grammy, and multiple sold-out shows. He's been working while Jim's been podcasting. Jim truly thought he was starting a trend. What he really did was start his own funeral march. Let's take it back to 2024. The crowd at the Louis Vuitton Spring Summer Show in Paris is packed with icons. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron, and literally every powerful figure in music, fashion, and culture. Cameras are everywhere. Pharrell is debuting his first collection as the new head of Louis Vuitton Men's, and it's already history in the making. Then suddenly, the beat drops. But this isn't just any instrumental, it's clips. For the first time in over a decade, Pusha T and his brother No Malice are premiering a brand new track. And the lyrics? You could feel the tension shift instantly. Even Jay-Z was vibing to it. That wasn't just shade. That was a direct declaration of war dropped in the middle of the most high-profile event of the season.
And I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 2003.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
you know what I mean?
A lot of them know.
And the lyrics? They said it all. Everybody knew exactly who he was talking about. The chasing a feature out of your element bar was a direct jab at Jim, specifically for aligning himself with Drake after being crowned an honorary Dipset member on stage in Harlem. That's the same Drake that Pusha absolutely eviscerated in the story of Adidon, and who still hasn't fully recovered from it. This wasn't Pusha clapping back with a diss track on SoundCloud. This was strategy. This was Pusha using Paris Fashion Week as the ultimate stage for an ambush. That's how far ahead he's thinking. Meanwhile, Jim kept dragging Pusha on Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, and Drink Champs. He literally dragged him down, emphatically stating Pusha isn't even top 50. But instead of lowering himself to the podcast circle, Pusha brought billionaires, luxury brands, and GOATs to the very front row of his revenge. And let's not ignore the layers here. This wasn't just about the lyrics, it was about the setting. Pharrell produced the track, the same Pharrell who helped craft Clips's entire sound, who has roots in both Virginia and fashion's elite inner circle. They debuted Chains and Whips, a track reportedly made in LV's Paris HQ.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas.
Literally overlooking the Seine River. Pharrell even said in an interview with the New York Times, pointing to the window, "That was made in this room. We just start walking around and looking out this window and you just see all of this. I mean, we beaten this system, bro." But while Pusha was playing chess in Paris, Nas was quietly building an empire back in Queens. While Jim was chasing ephemeral blog headlines, Nas was launching Resorts World Queens, a 350,000 square foot casino complex backed by a $5 billion vision. This isn't your average business collab. This is Nas investing in infrastructure, equity, and generational wealth for an entire borough. Meanwhile, Jim Jones is somewhere bragging about Summer Jam bookings like it's 2008. Nas didn't have to drop bars, he dropped receipts. And those hits landed way harder than any diss track ever could. Fans immediately caught on. Comments under his posts were brutal, and the math still didn't math. Nas has been consistently active. 3 albums in 5 years, 1 Grammy, and multiple sold-out shows. He's been working while Jim's been podcasting. Jim truly thought he was starting a trend. What he really did was start his own funeral march. Let's set the scene. Summer Jam 2024. Jim Jones finally gets the coveted opportunity he'd clearly been chasing all year. But the moment he hit the stage, it was met with crickets. Then it gets worse. Funk Master Flex, the very same Flex who had been one of Jim's biggest allies, cuts his set short, and you could literally see it hit Jim in real time. This was supposed to be his moment, but all the manufactured energy Jim built around this beef didn't translate, because at the end of the day, he didn't bring the hits. He brought drama. But even after all that, Jim still wasn't done.
Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening, bro.
He had one more diss in the tank, and this one, it was personal. After the Louis Vuitton era, Pusha didn't say much publicly. But behind the scenes, word started spreading. He wasn't done. Sources close to Clips say their upcoming reunion album is absolutely loaded with surgical shots aimed directly at Jim. The track debuted in Paris was just the intro. The rest, much, much darker. Some insiders are already calling it the Coke Bear moment, because Pusha is fully stepping into the villain role. He's not playing it safe, and if Jim keeps talking, it's going to be lyrical murder. And it's not just the lyrics, it's the strategic setup. Pusha is aligning his comeback with elite spaces, while Jim's rapping in Harlem alleyways over the same beat he just got buried on. You read that right. Jim actually tried to flip the chains and whips beat and drop his own freestyle in response. And that's where he crossed the final line. Pusha can take shots, but bringing up No Malice, a man who left rap to pursue faith and fundamentally changed his life? That's not just a diss. That's profound disrespect. Pusha hasn't responded publicly yet, but if history tells us anything, he doesn't react fast. He reacts strategically. And when he does, it's absolutely lethal. And then, Jim made his biggest mistake yet, publicly dissing Clips' new single on camera. During an interview, he takes one last swing at Clips and their new track, Ace Trumpets. He tries to play it off cool, claiming he doesn't listen to Clips and never has. But the fake chill slips, and the insecurity leaks through every single word. Because deep down, he knows he was the target, and they bodied him. And this is where the energy truly turns, because it's not just Pusha and Nas anymore. The culture itself is closing the door on Jim. The blogs are mercilessly dragging him. Even fans who once repped Dipset heavy are now openly calling for him to just stop. This wasn't a beef. This was a lesson. Jim Jones walked into a heavyweight ring with Nas and Pusha T, thinking he had bars to back it up, and got folded by silence, by chess moves, and by billionaire plays. He's not trending anymore. He's not on playlists. He's a ghost in his own game. And the real twist? The next Clips album hasn't even dropped yet. That, my friends, might just be the real funeral. So, if you thought this beef was wild, wait until you hear what's next.